4, 3, 2.
What's up, true believers, and welcome to, and we can officially say this now, episode 1 of the Marvel Mondays initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. We used to be tied with our cross-media show when we talked about the MCU, but we figured the MCU is big enough, it deserved its own programming. So yes, we decided to start the Marvel, Ruben, jeez. Tongue-tied. See, twice. I can't say Marvel Mondays Initiative 5 times fast. It's really difficult.
It is.
So, welcome to the Marvel Mondays Initiative. Today's topic is, of course, episode 1 of our brand new show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled New World Order. So strap in, everyone, because we've got quite a show for you today. If you are watching on YouTube, please consider dropping us a like and a sub. And don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications for when new shows such as our video game show, The Penultimate Conquest, and our TV movie show called The Cross Media Show, and our very own anime show titled Anime Nation. For those of you who do not know me, I am Eric, one of your hosts, one of your friendly neighborhood co-hosts, you would say, for the time being. As always, our trusted director, the boss man himself, Mr. Ruben Guerrero has joined me. Ruben, how are you today?
I know that was a hard thing for you to say, the director of, because you like to be very subordinate, and quite honestly, I'm writing you up for that.
Okay, we're not starting that kind of show right now, Ruben. Okay. So
okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Eric. How about you? It's a great week. It was a great week.
Yeah. It's been pretty good. A lot of fun Marvel stuff. I just finished Thor Ragnarok today. Rewatched it for the first time in a while. Still a great movie. And I just started Black Panther for the first time since Chadwick's passing, and it's really tough to watch it at start. It's really sad. But anyway, enough about me, Ruben. We have some spectacular guests with us today to talk Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, our first guest this evening, Ruben, is a man who needs no introduction, except for the one I'm about to do. He may just be the most positive person on the internet when he's not tweeting about Sebastian Stan and just being a positive force for good. He's here joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ethan Brandon. Ethan, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a Sebastian Stan.
I like that.
I'm very happy we could get you on the show to talk Falcon Winter Soldier. So, Ethan, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Ethan. I am very prominent in the Kind of Funny Facebook community. That's where I like to hang out. That's how I know most of you now. And so that's me. And I'm a huge Marvel fan, so that's why I'm here. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
Very excited to have you here with us. Now, our next guest, Ruben, is a big up-and-comer in the games industry. You can find him writing for Comics and Games magazine, podcasting for Thank You Games, and being the co-host of Tower FM Radio when we bring it back, because it's going to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, Ro, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me on. Again, also a huge Marvel fan myself, so I'm excited to talk about it for sure.
I lost my train of thought, Ruben. That's what happens. But no, very excited to have you back, Ro. I know you've been on this channel a few times, and very excited to always have you back. So thank you for coming back. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this episode, we have a few questions to ask our guests, Ruben.
That's right.
Gentlemen, your first question is, what is your favorite MCU movie? Ethan, I'm going to start with you.
That one's easy. It's Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
He's not wrong.
That's a really, it's perfect. It's a perfect movie. It's just so good.
Some would say it's the best.
It is the best.
I'd say it's one of the best. I don't know if it's the best.
Ruben, I'm talking to our guests, not you.
Okay.
You'll have your own time in the sun.
Yeah, well. Everyone's allowed to be wrong, sir.
Oh, okay, all right.
Ro, what about you? What is your favorite MCU movie?
I hate to sound redundant, but I completely agree with Ethan. Captain America: Winter Soldier is my favorite. I recently watched it this weekend, rewatched it, and yeah, it's still my favorite. It's amazing. I love the action in it. I love like the espionage sort of theme or like mood that it has. Yeah, everything about it I love. It's a great Marvel movie, and one of the few that I feel like you could just show anybody and they'll
I've
be
kind of
fine
frozen a
with
little bit
watching.
here, so you may have to repeat that, Ro.
Okay. I was going to say, I think
I think we're
that's
having
one
some
of those
technical
movies.
issues right now.
Give me 1 second, Ro. Hold on. Let's see if I can kick him
is
out
it-
and then bring
Oh
him
no!
back. Hold on.
I can't hear you guys. Hold on
Ah.
1 second.
No.
Hold on. Finally, he's gone. Anyway,
All right.
so
Sorry about that, everyone. Had a few technical issues. Ro, you may have to repeat that
No
question.
problem. I was just saying.
Repeat the answer. I said the question. Okay, I'm
Okay.
confused.
No.
Please go ahead, Ro.
No, I was just going to finish off by saying I feel like it's one of the Marvel movies that you don't need to know the connections too much. Of course, there's the Winter Soldier part that is important, but I feel like you could just throw that movie at somebody and they'll still enjoy it without knowing the baggage or backstories of most of the MCU characters. I feel like it's a good standalone Marvel movie. But
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And it's definitely required viewing to understand like where these characters are going, especially in this show. Next up, another thing that involves these characters, Mr. Brandon, are you
Yeah.
Team Captain or are you Team Iron Man?
Oh, Team Cap all the way.
yes.
Yeah, all the way.
Smart. There's a reason
Iron
why we
Man
had
was
you on the show.
wrong. Yeah. Like, not even that isn't even a question.
Got you. Ro, what about you?
Yeah.
Are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
I am Team Cap. Recently, I watched that movie a couple of times, and I never know what side to fall on because I love Iron Man, I love Tony Stark, obviously, and Spider Man being on his side kind of just influenced me just because he had that member. It was kind of like an unfair advantage for Tony Stark just because Peter was there. But
Mhm.
in the end, yeah, I think I'm on Team Cap for that.
And I know co-host here on the show, Christian. The beautiful thing about Civil War, we've talked about this, is like each viewing, you may have a different side that you like, because both sides have excellent points.
Yeah.
Like both sides are
Mhm.
definitely
For sure.
definitely have strong arguments for both. So, last question, Ethan, what is your favorite MCU character, or
Peggy
who
Carter.
I should say?
Peggy Carter.
That's a first.
Excellent
Yeah.
choice.
I want Peggy on here. Peggy is
Carter.
awesome.
So I was gonna say like Steve Rogers, obviously, but I love Peggy's character arc, like throughout basically all of like until Endgame. Basically, she's in it, but she's just such a good character, and like Agent Carter is one of the few ABC shows that's like still canon, and like it was amazing.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah,
So
Agent Carter is fantastic. Everyone should watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
yeah, it is, and then join me in like commiserating the fact that we never got a third season.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have done some cool stuff with that. But
Yep.
at least we're getting new Peggy Carter stuff with the What If show.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
So-
getting Captain UK, so that's awesome.
Very very excited to see where that
Yeah.
goes. Ro, what about you? Who is your favorite MCU character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was like a kid, and every iteration of him I love. I even like the Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I love those movies still. I know they're not the best out of all of them. I'll never argue that they're the best, but I'll never say that they're the worst, even though technically they are. But I still love those movies. Yes, Peter Parker, Tom Holland is doing a fantastic job as Peter. I'm excited to see what we're going to get in December with where that story goes. But Spider-Man has been my favorite character for forever. Yeah.
I can agree to that. He is my favorite fictional character, so I completely understand. So, But enough about Spider-Man and Peggy Carter. It's time for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, everyone. So, let's get into this episode. Now, the episode starts with one Sam Wilson appears to be ironing a shirt. And you can tell there's some type of somber thing about this. He's putting on like a suit and he looks at the shield. And then you get the snippets from Endgame of feels like the shield belongs to somebody else. And then you hear old Steve goes, it doesn't. So when I first watched this, I was wondering if this was going to be Cap's funeral. I thought, with like him looking at the shield, I thought they were going to show that Steve passed away since he's old. But we go into the next scene, which is Sam giving the shield to what appears to be the Smithsonian. And they have a Steve Rogers exhibit. And I think it's really that scene where Sam gives the speech about how important the shield is and how important Captain America was, I think really cements for me why just the MCU's version of Captain America is one of the best Marvel has. He was such a force for good, even if it meant, it wasn't the good thing at the time. It was always the right thing.
Yeah.
And that he was, I have no better word here to say, but he was a shield for everyone. He protected everyone. And yeah, God, I'm going to miss Captain America so much, which is a theme that could be said about this show. But it was nice. We see Captain Rhodes in the crowd. They did not expect Don Cheadle to show up. I did not think he was going to be in this show. But then they have a nice, heart-to-heart talk about, hey, why didn't you take up the mantle? Why didn't you do this? And Falcon's just like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. And so I think that scene really hits hard for me personally, because both Rhodes and Sam basically lost their guy. Rhodey lost Tony to death, and then Sam lost Cap because he hung up his shield. So, what do you guys think so far about, the Sam speech about what Captain America means? Ruben, I'm going to start with you.
Oh boy. This was a bit hard to watch because I am probably I'm a huge Captain America fan, and like I wanted to slap Sam in the face because like he gave you the shield. Just accept it for what it is, because it's yours now. So why would you give it up? I do like the speech that he gave. It was pretty heartfelt, and I felt a sense of not nostalgia per se, but like what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, but I camaraderie, I guess. And it was just good to see. I wish we got more Cap, but.
Just the heartfelt scene when he just looks to his left and goes, "Thank you, Captain America." I was just like, "Oh no!"
Oh no.
Ro, what do you think so far about like the Sam speech?
Yeah, it like Ruben, it did hit really really hard, and this show is obviously all going to be about, or I hope it's all going to be about Falcon coming to realize that he does deserve to hold the shield, and maybe by the end he'll pick it up and use it more. But he's obviously not in that place yet where he's ready to take up that mantle for whatever reason. Maybe he doesn't think he's worthy. He thinks it's just Steve's to wield. Watching this and kind of talking about Spider-Man just now, I never thought of it this way until recently, but the shield is kind of like Spider-Man's mask, where anybody could have it. Anybody could have gotten this super soldier serum, which I think may be a theme in this show as well. We're talking about theories later. But yeah, anybody could hold the shield as long as they're true of heart, obviously. But yeah, I feel like Sam is going to realize that he can wield that too, because he was chosen by the Captain America. So I hope he comes to terms with that eventually. But yeah, it was definitely a sad scene, and them putting it away in the capsule and them saying like, you did the right choice, and then we'll talk about the ending later. I don't want to go too much into it, but
I
yeah.
also just wanted to quickly say, like, maybe the pay wasn't that good,
Yeah.
$15 an hour.
We'll get into that
Okay.
in a bit. Ethan, what do you think about that scene?
Like that scene says a lot about like kind of where we are right now too, like politically. And I was like, and I kind of felt that a little bit. But man, I feel for Sam. Like his best friend died, and I was surprised that Bucky wasn't there too. But yeah, I'm like I was sad. I cried a little bit. I thought we were gonna get a funeral scene with Steve, but obviously he might be off doing moon stuff. Who knows?
Who knows? Indeed.
But yeah, so yeah, that was an emotional scene for me, because like Steve was besides Peggy was my favorite character, and this show for me too is going to be me like accepting the fact that he's gone just as much as the characters. So yeah,
We're gonna get a little bit more in like the performances here, but I want to give a shout out to Anthony Mackie's like that moment, like right before they switch into the next scene. He has just that moment of staring at the shield, and like the side shot they use for him, just like looking forward. Oh man, such a powerful scene. But speaking of powerful things happening, let's go to the next scene. We get our our pretty standard Marvel action. Sam working with the United States Air Force to get a prisoner. I believe it was a captain in the United States Air Force. He was held captive by one Baltrock the Leaper, who we have not seen since Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And I believe they were in, I forget which, was it Tanzania?
I think so.
Yeah, because I know they were trying to not get into Libyan airspace.
Yes.
During this action scene. But yeah, Sam, he has that moment where he just jumps out of the plane. That was pretty ballsy of him. Like, even though he's a trained professional, just a shot of him, but like, all right, I got this, and just falls backwards and just goes out. We see the new Falcon suit, and it looks really cool, the red and the white. And then when I saw he was using the wings, I was like, oh man, I bet there's some Stark technology in there. I guess we did find out that there is some Stark technology in the wings. And then we see Sam, just kicking ass, just going into the plane, start beating the hell out of guys and rescuing the captain. And then it just turns into this giant aerial chase through planes and helicopters. And it was just so fun to look at. As much as I really enjoyed the WandaVision, magic stuff. I just enjoyed seeing things blow up again. It was so much fun. And I wonder what the budget was for the guys' helicopters, because they had way too many heat-seeking missiles probably for what usually goes in a helicopter. But it was really cool. I think the moment when they're in the helicopter, like, all right, where'd he go? And Sam's just right there in the sea with them, like, hey guys, what's up? And I thought that was great. It's just Marvel knows how to do action shots so well. And this kind of gave me some Iron Man 1 vibes of stuff just, in the desert, just exploding. And then you have the pressure of getting all this done really quickly. And, there's the stereotypical in an action shot, oh, something's not working on my suit real quick. And then at the last second, all right, I rerouted power. Let's get back into it. And it was fun to see a super confident Sam, as opposed to, the somberness that we got at the speech. But just seeing him in his element of being able to just going wild, I thought that was really neat. So, does anyone have any thoughts on the action piece? What they think?
I want to talk about
I
that
have
ending.
Okay, Ruben, go ahead.
Of just him picking him up, like him getting his route rerouted, and just
Mhm.
flying through the helicopter and picking the guy up and just going. It was awesome. I loved it.
It was so cool. It was so well choreographed with how
Yeah.
they did all the stuff. Ro, what'd you think of the action scenes?
I loved it as well. The when he like Ruben was saying when he said I figured out my new plan, or I forgot the line exactly, or it was like we have to figure out another way.
I
Towards
already
on the
got
ground.
it.
It was like I got it, and then he
Yeah.
just went through there. That was awesome. But yeah, the squirrel suits were awesome. How they took the prisoner and just like put him on the back, and obviously he had nothing. He couldn't do anything because he didn't have a parachute. He can't just let go.
Yeah.
So he's like screaming, holding on to the guy's back. I love the action scenes in that. But yeah, like you guys were saying, seeing Sam confident like this and just pretty much proving that he can be a Captain America if he wanted to, being able to handle himself in these types of situations was awesome. And good on Marvel for making, first of all, Captain America. I love Captain America now. It wasn't until these movies that I started enjoying his character, and characters like Falcon, like the Hulk, even like I love these guys now. And seeing Bucky and Falcon get their own show to like expand, I think people were saying they have more lines in this one episode than they have in the entire MCU, which I'm not sure if that's true, but I get where that mindset is coming from because it's so good to see these characters get expanded on. So I love the action scene because I feel like it's kind of the best that we've gotten for Falcon specifically, just this one episode.
Right. Ethan, what'd you think of the action?
This scene, this was so good. It reminded me a lot of the beginning boat scene from Winter Soldier, except now we're giving Falcon like his time and like enough time to be like, okay, this is a cool character. Like he was cool before, but he's learned. Like he has his moves have gotten better. Like that flying through the helicopter, that was awesome. And I did not expect them to bring Baltrog back. Like that was a cool moment. It's yeah, I love him. Like
I definitely think we're gonna be seeing him like again.
yeah, I mean, I did not expect. I was like, wait, I know who that is. Oh, oh my gosh, they brought him. But like, and Sam is just so cool. Yeah.
So let's and so we go into the next scene of Falcon, or should I say Sam? Falcon, Sam. They're sitting at a table up here in the recent, very close town in Tanzania, and he's working on Red Wing, and the Air Force liaison that worked with him, is it Jacques Torres?
I don't
I
remember his
forget what
first
his
name. I know it's Torres is his last name, but I don't remember his
yeah,
first name.
Torres. I think I can't remember his first name, but I know Torres. So he speaks with him, and they start talking about this new group going around called the Flag Smashers, who their mindset is that life was better during the blip in those 5 years when after everyone got snapped. That's when the world was at its best, and this group wants to return to that. And so after this scene, Sam goes off. He has to go do something. He tells Torres, just stay safe. Just do some recon on them. That's fine. And then, and that's pretty much that scene. So now we get to the stuff that made me really happy. So
Could I
we get to.
could I cut in for a second?
Yes.
I did want to talk about that specific scene where he's.
Yes.
So I'm getting more and more confused with the MCU and the blip and the snap and all that other stuff. If I recall correctly, the blip was supposed to be everybody coming back. Am I right?
I believe so. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's all like we can talk about the snap and stuff. Just those 5 years, I think I think the blip is when everyone came back.
Yeah, because in here they're saying the Flag Smashers thought it was better during the blip, but why would it be better when everybody's coming? All right.
Well, I think it was during that 5 years. I think it's
Okay.
just like
Okay.
the blip is just an overarching term to discuss like everything that happened post snap to everyone coming back.
Okay. Christian is
Um,
in the chat saying the blip is the snap, which
yeah.
is very confusing, but okay.
Yes.
So we get to Sam driving a Dodge truck, and where's he going, Ruben? He's going
Back
to
home.
one Delacroix, Louisiana.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, everybody. I mean, we got Louisiana and Captain Marvel and whatnot. So, but this is about. Let's see if I think about where I am at right now. Delacroix is probably hour and a half from where I'm at right now.
So
So
pretty far.
that's not far in the grand scheme of things. I get on the interstate. I'm going to New Orleans. So I think just personally, I was very excited because it's close to my area. So I was like, oh, an Avenger is from my area, yay! Because I wonder personally for me, I wonder if Anthony Mackie had any say so since he's from New Orleans. It's like, yeah, let's make Sam from New Orleans area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from New Orleans. So very exciting. Personally, an Avenger is close to my home, so very happy about that. But that's besides the point. So he drives up to what appears to be a pier, a dock, whatever you want to call it, and he gets out of the truck, and you hear Uncle Sam, and so these kids come up. Turns out Sam's family owns a fishing boat company. And so I think it was nice to really show these characters, outside of, doing all this crazy stuff. Because I know that's what the writer said. Like, we want to spend time with these characters at home. And I think it really grounded Sam, where it's just like, oh, Sam comes from a working class family who, owns a fishing boat. And like they're struggling. Like most businesses probably, we'll get more to it's weird that we're going to talk about MCU and businesses and loans here in a second, but it was really nice. It shows just that these aren't gods. These aren't billionaires with bunch of money. Like this is a working class family, and I thought that was really nice to see. The business is going under, it seems like, and Sam's having some real difficulty dealing with that, and I think his sister's name was Sarah, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
And so he comes back saying, "Oh, what's happening? What's happening?" And she's like, "Well, you've been gone all this whole time." And he had the problem of Sam was one that was snapped. So, what do we all think about this specific scene, or just this setup of like seeing more into Sam Wilson's family? Ruben, what do you think?
I think it's good exposition to also show like we're like, well, I guess the conversation we're about to get into after this, to show like just because he's a superhero doesn't mean he's getting paid to be one. He's just doing it for the I guess the fame, which is cool and all, but like he's got to support a family. Like his sister is doing all the heavy lifting right now, and he's just out playing superhero. I don't. I get it, but like, no, family's first.
And I think there was that nice scene where it's like you're all fighting monsters and whatnot, and I'm very thankful for that. But like we're here dealing with all that too. We're dealing with tough stuff here as well. So, Ro, what did you think about seeing a little bit more into Sam Wilson's life?
Yeah, I loved it. I also like that too. I like that we got the awesome action sequence at the beginning, but I love that we are again starting to dive deeper into these characters that we don't know too much about. We got a little bit of them in the movies, but for the most part, both Sam and Bucky are kind of side characters, more so Sam. But it's good to see them in more of a spotlight role, and I love the chemistry that these two had together. They really felt like brother and sister to me. Yeah, and it's super, super interesting. And I hope we get more of this because we got a lot of it in WandaVision, but I love hearing about the people that had to deal with the uh, life after the snap and what that was like for everyday people. I love hearing about that stuff. So more of that. I love it. So I'm glad that we are getting more of that in this series.
Ethan, what about you?
This is the stuff I'm most excited about with the Disney Plus shows, like getting to know these characters on like a more personal level. So I love stuff like this. Like you have 6 episodes, so it just makes it kind of grounds it. Like it's it was very kind of it's kind of jarring to like get, oh, this is his sister, and like he has a life outside of being an Avenger, but it's great being able to see that. Like you did see that in WandaVision, like, a little bit, like before she created her space, she was like driving a car and doing her normal, like living her life outside of being an Avenger. And like uh I I'm I'm loving it. And this is the stuff that I'm gonna care about watching these kind of shows, these small moments of getting to know these characters. Like it's great.
I couldn't have said it better. I can also can't believe we've gone this far without seeing Ruben in a hat. This is the first time I've ever seen him in a hat, so
Oh.
it's really exciting.
Yeah.
New stuff every day. I think a specific line where Sam talked about how they're not selling the family legacy. I thought his sister's reaction to stuff was really good. It's like, well, you haven't been here. You can't just like come in and save the day. Like I'm badass too.
I
I
love
really
Sam.
I really enjoyed I really enjoyed that. And then you see the stuff where when he comes back, I was like, oh Sam, hey, what you doing? And so
Yeah.
also they used NOLA in this, which NOLA is okay. All right. So there are discussions of how to pronounce New Orleans. It's New Orleans. It's not New Orleans. It's not Nolans, as
It's not New
everyone
Orleans. I'm pretty sure it's New
True Blood would
Orleans.
like to tell you. It's not Nolans. NOLA is acceptable in marketing terms. And if sometimes you just want to say you don't want to say New Orleans, you're a little lazy. I get it. It happens. NOLA is acceptable.
New
It's
Orleans.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
New
So
Orleans.
just throw that out there. And so now we have one half of the show. Let's get to the other half. Let's introduce one, Mr. Bucky Barnes. So we see what appears to be a museum of some kind, and everyone's like, "Oh, you gonna join us at the conference?" Blah blah blah, stuff like that. And so guy goes upstairs, and all of a sudden, guess who comes busting through the walls? One Winter Soldier. You see the silver arm. You see the long hair. Something's not right here. So Bucky starts taking out all these people. It looks like he is on a mission of some kind. And when he takes out what appears to be his target, there is what appears to be an Asian man standing there, and he is looking really scared because he knows what's probably about to happen. Bucky knows that this dude saw his face. Well, not really, because he had a mask on. He saw him. He can't live right now. And so Ruben stepped away from his chair for a little bit. So we won't get into the discussion because I want him to be here. So how cool is his chair? He's got a Batman chair. It's
Cool.
really neat. I wonder how long it took to put that together. We got Yoshi looking at us. We got what appears to be the 11th Doctor's sonic screwdriver right there, right
I
next to him.
appreciate that.
So he's back.
Were you just
And
waiting for me?
oh, we filled time, Ruben. Don't worry.
Okay. I mean, you could have
Um,
asked anybody else.
It's okay, Ruben. You're
Okay.
here. I want you to be part of the conversation.
Okay.
Because
alright.
guess what, Ruben?
What?
What happens next is that Bucky wakes up from a nightmare. We see short hair Sebastian Stan. Hey, he's a little sweaty coming off the ground. He had a nightmare. And then we go into him going to therapy. And so Bucky appears to still have trouble getting over his past. He was brainwashed for 50 plus years
Yeah, that sounds about
and
right.
really have a mind of his own. So he's probably going to have nightmares about that. And so he's talking with his therapist, who she was very mean, by the way. She was real mean.
This is the type of therapist you need when you're dealing with a guy who's been brainwashed.
Yep.
So she talks to him about, are you still having the nightmares? No, I can't help you. I'm going to start writing in my notebook unless you start talking to me. And you can tell that they bring up this is probably one of the most important scenes in the show is Bucky at therapy, specifically when they're talking about, Bucky, you've been fighting for 90 years, give or take. And now you don't have anything to fight. What does that do to a person? Like when you have to go through such change like that, what does that mean? And you can tell Bucky he still doesn't know how to handle it. He's been going forward in missions and missions and missions. Now that's done. Now his best friend is gone. What
Oh shit!
what does that mean? And I think they bring it up perfectly. Like it's the quiet moments that are the worst. That's when things are terrible for him. It's the quiet moments. And so just what a perfect scene with camera work and just the theming and whatnot. Talking like a theme park ride here. So the therapist talks to him about, the 3 rules. 1, nothing illegal. Can't do anything illegal. And we get these shots of, Bucky out and about, trying to make amends, which we go into rule 3 here, trying to make amends into his past. He talks about a specific congresswoman who, he in his Hydra days, he helped put her there, and she, is still being kind of an asshole. So he goes to meet her in the parking lot, and it goes into rule 2, nobody gets hurt. Immediately after that, dude gets punched in the face. So I thought that was nice. And then we get into rule 3, which is telling people he is contacting them, that he's no longer the Winter Soldier. He's trying to make amends. And you see, after he punches her and goes like, "Hi, I'm the Winter Soldier. You may remember me. I don't do that anymore. Have a nice day." And then, the feds come up and get her. But I think it was nice that, Bucky, even though it's not really his fault, he is brainwashed.
Correct.
Like he had no control over his body, but he's still trying to make amends. Like, look, I know it wasn't me, kind of, but I hurt a lot of people. So I like the list that he gets writing on. So what do you guys think specifically about the therapy scene? Ruben, we're going to start with you.
Oh my god. What a great scene for like he looks terrified every time she goes to write in that notebook. So he's basically bending to her will, essentially, so to speak. And I love it. I love that he's trying to make amends for all the wrong that he did when he was brainwashed. The rest of the episode kind of gets a little hard for me because I feel really bad for Bucky. But this is I love the therapy scene. Yeah.
Bro, what about you?
Yeah, I love it too. You touched on it a little bit with the cinematography, and it was so well shot, I think, with Bucky, just with the forest scene behind him. It looked so beautiful. They had a lot of close-up shots of both of them when they were speaking to each other, the therapist and Bucky. I thought it was shot really well. And Ruben said, like, the therapist was super mean, but kind of who you need for a guy who's been brainwashed. And I totally agree. I feel like Bucky needs that kind of tough love therapy rather than what I guess I would need if I were to go to therapy. It's something not like that at all. But I feel like Bucky needs something like that. And yeah, him going through the motions and trying to make amends, it hits hard because, like you guys are saying, it wasn't him. It really wasn't him. He feels guilty for it, and as any human would be, but it really wasn't. So wasn't him. So it really does hit hard to see him hurting so much. And the little nod that he gave to Wakanda, like the only time that I had peace was when I was that brief little moment in Wakanda. I was like, damn, yeah. Ever since then, I've been going from fight to fight to fight, and yeah, and we've seen what that does to a person, and hopefully Bucky will be able to recover from all of that. But we'll talk about the first person on the list later, which is, damn, really, really hit hard.
Ethan, what about you?
Oh, this scene was this. I rewatched it yesterday, and this scene made the episode for me. Like, it's again, it's these it's like these small moments, and like you wouldn't get this, I don't think, in a film like Bucky in therapy in a movie. Like, this is so good. And yeah, like the therapist was hard on him, but like we've all said, like he needs that. Like, he's been the Winter Soldier for like 90 years. He needs that. And having to deal with all of it. Um, Little aside, um, when they're going over the steps, there's a Watch Dogs fan in that writing room, because um, I laughed when I watched it the second time. Like, he hacks just like Aiden Pierce does, and he even has a hat on.
Huh.
Like, there's
I didn't notice that.
Neither did
yeah.
I.
That's awesome.
like there's got to be a Watch Dogs fan in that writing room, and it made me laugh. I was like, oh my gosh. But this scene was great. The therapist is a good actress as well. I've seen her in a lot of TV shows, and she usually plays that type of character. Like,
Yeah.
she's awesome.
And after the therapy scene, we get to a scene where Bucky's walking down the street to New Yorkers. They're arguing. Ain't that right, Ruben? Hey, he's got my trash in his trash can here.
I didn't hear anything you just said. None of that was coherent. Okay.
I said we got. I couldn't tell if Bucky was in New York or not.
He
Anyone know
was.
if he was in New
Yes,
York?
he was.
Yeah,
He
so
was.
a couple of two New Yorkers arguing, Ruben, like, yeah, get your trash out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And so, so Bucky definitely starts talking more to the older gentleman. What was his name?
I want to say Yuri, but that sounds wrong.
His name was Yuri.
Oh,
Yuri.
it was one.
Yuri.
Okay, and so they're going out to lunch. He says, "I'm going to buy you lunch." So they go to this, this Japanese restaurant, and they start having a conversation, particularly about Bucky's love life, little dating life. He hadn't met anybody, and so Yuri just hits on and asks the waitress at the restaurant, "Hey, he likes you. He wants to go on a date with you." And so, like, oh, here we go. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, no one's gonna look at Sebastian Stan and go, "Ew." So,
Never.
yeah. So I thought it was really fun. It was a cute moment with Bucky because he's so out of his element here, which is funny because in First Avenger he was the ladies' man, like getting all the ladies like with Steve in the first movie, and now he's just like fish out of water. He doesn't know what to do. And so you think the scene is about to be really nice and sweet and stuff, and then it just takes a 180 turn when Yuri is talking about his son that was killed, and then you're like, oh my god, I know why Bucky is hanging out with this guy. Because when I first saw the scene, I thought it was like an old war buddy or something that was still alive. And then that is not the case. That is not the case at all. And so Bucky still feels tremendous guilt for what has happened. So he's doing his best to make amends. And it really hurt because, as we talked about, this wasn't him, but he still feels terrible for what happened. And I thought it was it was impactful. So does anyone have, Ruben, do you have any thoughts about this scene?
Well, like I touched on it before, it was hard to watch just because I immediately put two and two together. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, he's being a friend to the guy who lost his son, which he actually killed. And I feel bad for Bucky because, again, like we keep saying, it wasn't his fault, but he's got to deal with the consequences, and it sucks Life sucks.
Life sucks.
Bro, what about you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. It took me a little while. It wasn't until Yuri started talking about his son that I realized what was going on. But yeah, it's a tough life for Bucky. Everything that he did during Winter Soldier's time is still haunting him, obviously. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how he makes amends with this guy in particular. For everyone else, it seems like it's kind of an easier way to it's easier to right the wrongs of the congresswoman. I'm not sure who else is on his list, but that seemed like an easier one to cross off of your list. It's going to be interesting to see how does he just tell him the truth? Like how does it look? How does he lift that guilt off of his spirit? I can't wait to see how that happens. But yeah, it's still hard to watch, like Ruben said.
Ethan, what about you?
I loved getting to see Bucky trying to date, like, and being like, when she's like, "How old are you?" and he's like 106, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's so funny," and he's like, "Yeah, that's hilarious." Like, um, and then like, there's like a little joke where he's like, "What's wrong with Pinochle?" Like, he's such an old man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love old man Bucky. Like, this is, um, but I didn't even catch that Yuri was um related to somebody on his list until the second watch, and that made it so much more impactful. Um, like, I thought he was just like somebody that he connected to just because like he's older, so he connects. Obviously, he's gonna connect. Like, Bucky's a bit of a boomer. He's gonna connect to the older crowd. Um, and I didn't even catch that, but like the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, he's trying to make amends by befriending the guy, and he's gonna find out. I think eventually he'll find out, and we'll have to deal with that. So that's interesting.
And so after this, yeah, the date scene was funny, especially with little cat. He's
Yeah,
just trying to stop it. But then he feels just really guilty, and so it's fun. It's bad because he can't have a normal life now. He's never going to be able to have a normal life as much as he tries. Like just the guilt that he probably feels is just it's too much. But we get to um, the next scene where we see Torres is in Switzerland and is part of. This was the weirdest scene, I think, because there's like no context whatsoever. It just shows up when apparently someone's handing out masks with face prints on them, with handprints on them, and then they're robbing a bank. And then apparently one of those guys has a little super soldier in him because he's able to kick people really far, punch people really far. And I think I don't think the flag smashers and stuff were really this important this episode because this was really about getting Falcon and Winter Soldier like where they're at right now. I think definitely going to be getting a whole lot more of this group later, but yeah, just your typical. All right, these are the bad guys. This is what we're going to have to be dealing with. Fair, but we get to the next scene where Sam and Sarah are getting ready to go to the bank. Look out for a loan to help the fishing company, and I saw someone mention this because like you'll never. It was funny. I forget who it was, but it was like you'll never see DC do stuff where people in a bank trying to get a loan. Marvel will do that. I wish I remember who said it because it was a really good idea.
But didn't
But
we
they're
though?
having
Didn't we see that in DC?
what?
Somebody trying to get a loan. I'm pretty sure it was Martha trying to get a loan
yeah.
for the house.
Martha was trying to get a loan for the house.
Yeah, in
Yeah, you're right.
it's,
In what movie?
Batman versus Superman.
Batman. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, great movie.
Either way,
Great movie. You should watch it.
yeah, it is a good movie. But either way, it gets to another scene that made me hoot and holler. It said, "I know you from somewhere. Didn't you play for LSU?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, here we go." So because I don't know if anyone knows this, but this is the first mention of an actual sports team anywhere in the MCU. Like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, on his list where it was like, the 1966 World Cup final or something like that. But we never had like an actual sports team be mentioned, I don't believe. And the first one is LSU. LSU is officially MCU canon. My alma mater. Yes, let's do it. Alabama and all these teams can have their national championships. We exist in a world where Spider-Man knows who we are. So suck it, Alabama and everyone else. We got this. We're good.
Again, that's also not true. We saw Met Stadium in Endgame.
But did they mention it?
You don't need to mention it because you see it.
Were the Mets mentioned?
No, but you see it.
Nope. I'm wrong.
Okay.
Wrong. Nope. I remember Captain America, First Avenger, talked about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the first college team, first football team. How about that? Does that make you feel better? I feel excited now.
That makes me feel
Let
better.
me have this.
Okay.
All right.
I just want you to know
Eric,
that New York.
I'm just glad you're happy.
Yeah,
I just want you to know.
It's in every freaking Marvel movie.
That's
Let me
right,
have
that's
this,
right.
Ruben.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Anywho, so we get to them trying to get a loan, and you would think that Falcon really has connections. Apparently, that's not working really. You find out that Tony Stark may not have been paying anybody, which this has been a weird thing on the internet the last few days. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Tony, I guess it's different. Like, hey, you can live in the Avengers campus and stuff. You'll have everything taken care of. But I guess it's one of those where your job really is to be an Avenger. So,
But why
I'll
is
pay for
Tony?
everything else.
Why is Tony paying them?
Exactly. This is the confusion that's been happening. Everyone's been getting on to Tony Stark this weekend since the episode aired, saying he's a terrible person. And it's like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute.
Okay.
But it does bring up a pretty big issue that could have come up with, half the population of the Earth coming back. This is going to create a bunch of craziness, with banks, the housing market and stuff like that. Oh my God, we got so boring so quickly. But this is something that would happen.
Yeah.
It's just people get denied loans, and it's awful because you would think that with everything that Sam has done for I don't know the universe, they'd be like, you know what, we can help you out here. We're definitely we're gonna take care of you because you took care of us and stuff like that. But I think it's just. This happens daily, and just to see it in the MCU where it's just like it's more in people's brains now where it's like, look, a lot of people are are struggling. There's so many people that are struggling out there, and I think this episode especially, I think it shows especially with minority groups, and in the end of the episode it's going to be an even more, I think, prominent example of it. But it's just like, hey, man, thank you for fighting wars for me, but we can't do anything for you. Sorry about that. We're just going to help out the people that we want to help out.
I know this is a bad time, but can I get a selfie? Oh, I hated
yeah,
that. I hated that line.
Like the first one was good. Where it's like, oh my God, you're Falcon. Oh, thank you so much. It's like, oh, hey. I haven't really denied a loan to you.
You also haven't really done anything for 5 years. Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I was not existing.
I was in the Soul Stone. What were you up to, sir?
So, it's just, I think it was a very powerful scene because I think Falcon really hit Falcon really hard because I'm used to I'm with the Avengers. I'm used to things pretty much going my way. What the hell? So I thought the bank scene was pretty great. What did y'all think? Ruben, start with you.
Yeah, the bank scene was a weird thing. Again, the guy was wrong place, wrong time guy. You probably should have known that he was blipped for 5 years. Just because you haven't seen him in 5 years, I don't know. But also cut the guy some slack. Like you know what he does. You can't just talk to your manager and be like, "Hey, it's freaking Falcon. Can we cut the guy some slack?" And like we know he's good for it. If anything, I'm pretty sure he could probably just ask Shield for the money. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I got.
But Ro, what do you think?
Yeah, again, like when what I was saying earlier, it's so interesting to see what effects the blip has on the economy, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, it's super interesting to watch this scene and ultimately see it not work out in their favor, and it just being ultimately unfair because, like you guys said, he wasn't here to make money, and when he was here, apparently he wasn't making money with the Avengers. I don't know. That's interesting as well. But yeah, it's even this little side story is super interesting to me, and I'd love to see how what they do with the boat, how that impacts the sister and the brother relationship. It's interesting to see that for sure. I love the argument that they had outside where Sam and Sarah kind of got into it, and Sarah had a great point with like, you were away, dude. Like you don't get to come back and play the hero. And then Sam had like a piss poor excuse, and then just like, you really going to do that on me, even though you know I'm right? And he's like, yep, just that. I just love the chemistry between them. It's super brother and sister. Like I have a little sister as well, and it's just like that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, I hope it works out for them. That's all I really have to say on that.
That's an excellent point. Ethan, what did you think about the bank scene?
Uh, this I like it. I feel like, come on, guy. Like they dude literally saved the universe, like half the universe, and can't get a break. Like I don't know. I get what the show's trying to say. Like they kind of cover it in Far From Home as well. Like when May Parker comes back and she says, "Oh, people were living in my apartment." Like they, of course, there it's covered more for comedy. This WandaVision and this are kind of covering the more serious aspects, which I like. But I by the end of the scene, I just wanted to be like, I just wanted to shake the guy and be like, do something for them. Give the Wilsons alone. Come on, they deserve it. Like, uh, and yeah, like I love Sarah. She's great. I love their relationship. They have awesome chemistry. Like, yeah. So
It's very well put, Ethan. So now let's get to the most talked about moment of this episode. So we see Sam sitting in what appears to be the family house, and he's doing something. All of a sudden, Sarah says, "Sam, you need to come see this." And so Sam looks at the TV, and something is about to happen. Like there was a weird feeling in the air. I didn't know what was going to happen, and so this freaking dude from the government, man, just gets up there and talks about how, Captain America was our hero, and we have the Avengers, but we need somebody to protect America, which is why, in partnership with the Department of Defense, I am proud to unveil our new hero. And who comes out but this wish store looking motherfucking Captain America? And they say, "Welcome, Captain America," and it's just like, what the fuck? That's not him. Don't you dare.
It was really bad.
And then it's back to Civil War, Tony. That shield doesn't belong to you. So, and then the episode ends, and it's like, those motherfuckers. Ruben, I can say fuckers on the show, right?
Of course.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, very upset. Jet, they thought they could just hand the shield off to somebody and just like, hey, you off the shield, you want to be Captain America? Also, what the hell? I know Cap used guns in World War II when he was fighting, but all he needed was the shield. He didn't need to have a gun strapped to his side. What is this? I'm so upset right now.
Well, to be
That's
fair,
not Captain America.
This is not Captain America. I don't think this guy has the super soldier serum.
I guess we'll find
Spoilers.
out soon. But Ruben, what did you think of this angry scene?
Yeah, this looked like the rental guy that you charge, 25, well, that he charges $25 to come up dressed up as Cap to your party. It was, I got nothing. All I picture is his face smiling, and I'm like, yeah, doesn't look good. I mean, the suit looks okay, but like,
Yeah, the suit looks fine.
yeah,
I have no problem with the suit, but like
it's just his face. His face just, I just want
like
to
that's
punch
not
it.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Also, like, I would feel pretty bad. Not pretty bad. I'd feel really upset at myself if I was in Sam's shoes, because you literally just gave them that freaking shield, and here they are giving it to somebody else that's not you. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of fucked up.
Ro, what did you think?
Yeah, it definitely sucks. I'm again super interested to see how this is going to turn out. How Falcon potentially gets the shield back. What this guy is going to do with it. But yeah, it's awful that after him giving it up and the government guy saying you made the right decision, and literally days later, I don't even know how long it was. It could be less than days later. I don't even know, giving the shield to this guy and him coming out and everyone cheering, losing it after also clapping at Sam's speech. It's like it's so uh, two-faced. I think is the best word that I can use. Which I again in real context hate, but in the context of the show is like it's a super interesting theme and something that I'm excited for them to dive into. But as a fan, obviously, I'm super upset that this happened. But I think it's going to be an interesting thing to watch play out for sure.
I definitely agree with you there. I think it'd be interesting to see just from because I know the writers said they were going to discuss, racial issues and stuff in the show, and I think this is a big one. Like the next Captain America is Sam.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't ready for that. I don't know why you don't think you're not ready for that, and we have to come out with this dude. So I'm really excited. I agree with you 100%, Ro. I think I am upset at this, but I think this is going to lead to some very good
Content.
character stuff for Sam. Yeah. Ethan, what do you think?
I was not. Okay, no, that's a lie. I thought they would do something like this. And then I put in my notes too after I watched it last night. The guy looks like Carl Fredricksen. like I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I had just watched the Snyder Cut and I saw a tweet and it was like Whedon's cut versus Zack Snyder's cut, and it was the two pictures of the different caps. But I'm obviously Sam's gonna get the shield back, and I'm really interested to see how it happens, and where we go from here to the end of the series.
Indeed, yeah. I think it's going to be great. So that's the end of the episode. I think one thing I specifically want to talk about is I enjoy how both of these shows are dealing with grief in their own way. So,
Yes.
Wanda has to deal with something where, Vision is dead. Vision's gone. She has to deal with that. This is a show where, Captain America, we don't know if he died or not, but he hung up the shield. And it deals with more so of the legacy of what's going on. I think that's what's going to be the key of this show is legacy. And what kind of legacy is Sam and Bucky going to have going forward now that they're, their friend, I don't want to say mentor because, they're kind of all the same age, kind of, relatively speaking. But, what's that going to do? What's it going to be like to have the weight of, holding the most probably iconic symbol in the MCU? Like you're up. This is you. You're up at bat. And so I think that's going to be really interesting to see. I'm really excited to see it. So right now, let's get into theories of what we think is going to happen with the rest of the show since we just had episode number 1. Ruben, where do you think this show is going to go?
I think that Bucky is going to turn into the White Wolf, if I remember correctly. Just because, just for the reasoning of mentioning Wakanda, I think he's going to go back to Wakanda. He's going to, powwow with those guys, and he's probably going to become the White Wolf. White Wolf or White Fang? I think it's White Wolf, right?
I think it's
White Wolf.
Okay.
White Wolf.
All
Yes.
right. Yeah, that's all I got.
Gotcha. Ro, where do you think the show is going to go?
That sounds awesome. By the way, Ruben, I would love that.
Thank you.
I really don't know. Like I love the comics, but I'm not that deep into them where I can pull theories from the comics. Like, oh, that story would fit really well into this show. I can't do that. I know that the guy from Civil War is in this show. I'm blanking on his name. The
Oh,
guy with
Zemo! I completely
Zemo. Yes.
forgot.
Yes, Zemo is in this, and I believe his whole stick from Civil War was that a world without superheroes is the better world. Isn't that correct? That was his his plan, trying to get rid of the Avengers so they would be no more. So I feel like he's going kind of like the Syndrome route from like Incredibles. Like if everybody's special, no one is, and he's kind of like spreading around the super soldier serum to all of his followers. And I think he's part of this group. I don't know. I'm assuming he's part of the LAF group. So obviously that dude that was smashing Torres around has a super serum soldier in his blood, or else he wouldn't be able to do that crazy stuff. So I feel like he's going to try and kind of spread the wealth of the superhero powers around to the masses, and so everybody is technically super. If everyone's super, no one is, the whole Incredibles idea.
Yeah.
But that's where I think
Gotcha.
it's going.
That I would like to say. I also thought it was crazy that I think that Mephisto is the new Captain America. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my
Mephisto,
God.
Captain America. It's going to happen. The signs are there, Ruben. The signs are there.
Okay.
And this video essay, I will tell you why. So, Ethan, where do you think the show is going to go?
Okay. First of all, no Mephisto. Don't bring that up here. But but I think we're gonna see Sam. Like my main theory right now is Sam will get the super soldier serum by the end of the series.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, because I was kind of like, not, but now that we've seen other people that have some kind of super soldier serum in them, I'm like, oh, that might happen. And I believe it happens in the comics too, but I might be wrong. So that's my main thing. And then Bucky going back to Wakanda and being White Wolf, I think that'll happen by the end of the series. And maybe he'll be in the Black Panther or in the Wakanda series
And maybe
as a regular as well.
maybe we don't even get him like officially becoming the White Wolf. Maybe we just see him saying like, "Yeah, I think I might go back to Wakanda and figure some stuff out."
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Save that for the movies.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think overall, I think this was a good start of this show. The slow burn. But I also did see today that this was the most watched season premiere of any show Disney Plus has ever had.
Ooh.
Huh.
Good for
So I
them.
think that was wild. I think it just shows how much people, how big the MCU brand is, how much people like these two characters. The hype after WandaVision, everyone loved WandaVision. Like, oh, this is what the Disney Plus shows can be. Oh man, these are great. So I'm very excited going forward. Because we got 5 episodes left, so it's not like we have 8 more to go. Like, so these are going to start picking up pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sam and Bucky are going to be together next episode, ready to go.
It's gonna be great. Couples therapy. I'm excited.
I'm really, really excited. But yeah, that's the end of our discussion here on the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I want to thank Ro. I want to thank you and Ethan for joining us this evening. Now, here's the end, and we have some plugs to give out. So, Ruben, what would you like to plug?
We are doing a community stream. I want to say 9:15 Eastern of Among Us. So it's probably going to be an hour. Feel free to hit me up if you want to join at That Guy Tuesday on Twitter. The next couple shows are going to be Attack on Titan tomorrow with the usual crew. We have Ryan is doing Anime Nation this week. I believe he said that he's discussing the new season of anime. So spring 2021, very exciting stuff.
I still don't get this spring season stuff with anime.
I'll talk to you after the show about it.
You'll tell me when I'm older.
Yeah. And Richie is also doing his lit RPG show on Thursday, which I'm hoping it's cool. We'll see.
We shall.
Yes, we shall.
Ro, what would you like to plug?
I will just plug my Twitter, which is RAUWRO. You can basically find everything that I'm doing from there. I have a YouTube channel under the same name. I write a little bit on thankyougames.com, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll be able to see what I am up to.
He's a star, everyone. Follow him. Ethan, my friend, what are you
Yes.
going to be plugging?
I'll plug my Twitter, twitter.com/Ethan Brannon, where you can find me tweeting that I need therapy after these shows, and thirsting after Sebastian Stan most of the time, or Tom Holland, one or the other.
Ethan, I don't know if you've seen it, but I've actually put Sebastian Stan as your picture for the episode.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, I can attest. Ethan is one of the nicest people on the internet, so please follow him. Show him some love.
Oh.
He deserves it. So, I guess, like Ruben says, you can catch us here, Penultimate Conquest. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow, donate, whatever you want to do. We appreciate you very much. Now, until next time, we shall see you here at the Marvel Mondays Initiative.